Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to. Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the African Students Leadership Academy for today. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. Is it better now? Can you hear me? Mr. Chairman, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. Let me see if they can hear me from the studio. Amira, can you hear me? Hello, Amira, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Please unmute, Amira, unmute your mic.
Oh, sorry, sir.
Oh, sorry. Okay, good. Can that camera be steady so that we can get started? Our guest is already here. Okay, so please, can you mute the second? Okay, all right. I think it's better now. So good morning, Mr. Chairman, my chairman, and the my chairman. Okay, let me see. I'm not getting it up very well. Let me see. Okay, so good morning. Yeah, good morning, my chairman and students. Okay, today on the African Students Leadership Academy, we bring you our boss, Mr. Rajan Nazran, the Chief Explorer of Global Indian Cities and the Chairman of the Woomba Leadership Center's International Advisory Board. We bring him to you as speaker this a wonderful day. That is to tell you how dear to us and the level of importance that we have attached to this academy. As an explorer who has traveled to over 70 countries of the world, Mr. Rajan brings to bear an understanding of the role identity, culture, diversity, etc. play in both personal and global development. Mr. Rajan is also the CEO of NazranRoth UK, a management consulting firm that consults for heads of states, ministers, global corporations, and the likes. My dear students, his love for Africa is immeasurable, and we are happy that he's here face to face to discuss with you this morning. Mr. Chairman, before you students, African students of the Rochas Foundation College of Africa who just graduated from the secondary school and are ready for admission into the universities around the world. In them, we see the future of Africa. In them, we see a vibrant economy in Africa. And that is why, in collaboration with the Rochas Foundation, we have decided to equip them with the skills that they need to be able to face the challenges that are waiting for them in the future in this continent. So, ladies and gentlemen, join me and welcome Mr. Rajan Nazran, the chairman. Very good. So, Mr. Chairman, this is a way of welcoming you to this session this morning. And I know this is it is like homecoming for you. This is like homecoming for you because of what you have done for Rochas Foundation in the past. So you're welcome. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Remy. And first and foremost, congratulations to all the students out there for graduating. It's not easy. Absolutely. How are you all feeling? Are you feeling excited about the future?
Yes.
Yeah, good. Okay. I can't see you on my screen, so I'm going to have to imagine your faces for what I can see. The thing is, I've been a student before. I've been your age. I'm guessing if you're going to university, you must be 17 years old or 18. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And you're from different countries across Africa. So why don't you tell me which countries from across Africa are you guys from? I'm guessing there's people there from Nigeria, correct?
Yes.
And which other countries?
Ethiopia, Congo.
You can stand and do the introduction formally. Go ahead.
No, that one is okay.
Okay, we have 10 African countries.
Ali, stand there and do this.
We have 10 different African countries here. We have Ethiopia, we have Congo, Sierra Leone, Liberia, South Sudan, Guinea-Bissau, Guinea-Conakry, Congo, Gambia, Niger, Nigeria, and Sierra
Wow.
Leone too.
So you got the future African Union in that hall at this moment in time, which is exciting. So just to give you an idea of what I do, I've created a presentation for you. So it just gives you a small glimpse of some of the work that I do. And hopefully it makes sense why you can see this face on your screen. I don't take it for granted that, you're young students and you're moving forward in the world. And I'm guessing you've probably heard a lot of people giving you all these great sermons or giving you these great pearls of advice and saying this is what the future is. I'll be very honest with you. The future around the world is not great. It is a scary place to live at this moment in time. We're seeing more wars than ever before. We're seeing more turmoil than ever before. And we're seeing more divisiveness than ever before. My hope in this presentation for you is to empower you to know that you can make a difference. Not only have you made a difference by being at the Rochas Foundation and being able to educate yourselves, but it's also my hope that you can make a difference to the many other people out there, not just in places like Sierra Leone or Ethiopia or Congo or Niger or Nigeria, but ultimately make a difference to the world at large. I'm going to tell you about my own experiences. And for some of you, it probably will resonate because I've been to many of the countries that you call home. And for others of you, it may be just like a passing whim, an idea that floats across your mind. So if I have your permission to, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to take you through a very brief story of mine, and then we're going to have a very strong interactive session. Are you all happy with that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, done. So I'm going to quickly present. I'm hoping this is going to work. So slides, let me share my screen. Okay, can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, perfect. So before we kick off, as many of you may know, Aurelia Karacha has been a mentor of mine in the past. So I have been essentially in the same situation that you have been, but probably over 15 years ago now. So when I had more hair up there, less hair down there, and I was probably as slim as most of you guys sitting there in the audience. So I've had a really strong relationship with Nigeria for a very long space of time. So I know what it's like to go to a new country, to have to try and start yourself up, to make new friends, and more importantly, try to make your way in the world. So the way that I started off my life was in a situation whereby I was born to an immigrant family in the UK in a place called Birmingham. Before I kicked off the Global Indian Network, I was always born by an idea of saying, what if? Like many of you out there, you've probably seen your family struggle. I'm guessing you've also seen how bad life can be at times. Would that be correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, all right. So before we kick off, I'd like to offer my prayer for the work that we do, which is as follows. We stand as sentinels to radiate our desired purpose through action and to create a positive impact upon our communities, countries, and the planet. Together, we all stand for humanity. My goal of this presentation is to give you the ability to live lives of passion, dignity, and adventure. The ultimate goal by the end of the presentation is enable you to know that you can use your ideas to transform. Whether it's to transform yourself when you're at university, whether it's to transform your country in the future, or whether it's just to transform your friend circle, it doesn't make any difference. The whole idea is to enable you to know that by taking small decisions and by really working with what's purposeful for you, you can make a world of difference to people out there. Does that sound fair?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. So firstly, who am I? So the person that you see on your screen with his raggedy beard and jet-lagged eyes came from very humble beginnings as well. I was born to immigrant parents in the UK. When I was born, that's when my parents eventually got into business. So I saw the rise and fall of what the business world is. My exposure across the globe led to a new way of thinking. I started to realize from a very young age, from the age of 8 and 9, that I had to learn. That was my only way through things. And the need to learn for me came from a deeper perspective of realizing I was born in a country like the UK where there was huge inequality. At the time in the 80s, there was a lot of racism. People used to look at you and the color of your skin. People used to judge you on your accent. And I realized in order to progress, I had to work, unfortunately, twice as hard as any of my colleagues in the class. But that's life. That's how the life was in the UK. From there, I went on through school and I funded my way through university, and I took massive risks to do so. In fact, when everybody else was coming to the UK at university, I chose to leave the UK and go off to Italy to study my own law and economics. From there, I became a mentor coach for the Indian Olympic team, out of luck. I also got to travel to Israel, Palestine to work on peace reconciliation projects. And then eventually it led me into the world of the media. Again, I was very lucky to have really strong mentors around me that guided me through different ways of thinking, and more importantly, different ways in which you could do business. After the media, I worked in the UK for a little while. And that's when I came across your mentor, Aweli Okorocha. I'm guessing you've all had the chance to meet with him yourself. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, you probably will realize he is one incredible human being. Not only is he larger than life, he has this infectious smile, but his own story from grass to grace is something that is felt right the way across the globe. When I had the chance to meet with Rochas, I also got to meet with my dear brother and friend, Uche Ogwumba, who I'm guessing you've met with as well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, meeting with Rochas was a life-changing moment for me because I got to meet with somebody who doesn't judge you on your skin color, who does not judge you on your religious beliefs, who does not judge you from the country you're born in, but will judge you upon the quality of your spirit. If he likes you, if he believes in you, he will back you to the hills. And that was something that was monumental for me. From there, I went in to set up a business in recruitment. I started recruiting in the media industry. And then I set up my own media company through an opportunity that I founded. And then I got really frustrated. I got really angry. I started to realize that the world isn't fair. Ladies and gentlemen, as much as people will tell you that the world is a great place, it can be absolutely evil at times. And that's why my frustration turned into a deep dive into exploration. that took me to over 70 countries around the world at some of the most strangest moments. Now, I heard that some of you are from Sierra Leone. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So it wouldn't surprise you, I worked with Ernest Bai Koroma during the Ebola crisis. I was actually in Sierra Leone. Some of you are from Zambia. Is that correct? Are some of you from Zambia?
No, sir.
No. Okay. So some of you from Ethiopia. Is that correct?
No. Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So I also worked with Meles Zenawi, your former Prime Minister of Ethiopia, many years back. So when I was going to these countries, I started to realize that many of the stories that define the nations were never being told. People didn't really know about these countries. They didn't really understand it from the perspectives of locals. And unfortunately, many of the politicians of those countries were, in my opinion, doing great disservice to the ideas of national development. The youth of today, the people like yourselves who should be having a better life, were not being able to do so. And that's what allowed me to found the Global Indian Network, which have been very fortunate to grow rapidly. My biggest ideas that shaped my life was something really simple, and it will shape yours as well. We often see the world as we are, not as it is. Do you all understand what I mean by that? If you don't, say no.
Yes.
You do? If you do, say yes. Okay. So what that means is, because of our perspectives, where we're born, how we're educated, our family circumstances, we will see the world through our own experiences. But our own experiences isn't always the way that the whole world is. Where some of us will see happiness and opportunity, other people will see misery and sadness. Where some people see freedom and liberty, other people see constriction, and maybe in some cases, dictatorship. Now, the reality is, even politicians, from what I learned, will always measure the world through their own experiences. They will only see it through how they think that the world is. What I aim to have done with my company was saying, why don't we create something fair? Why don't we create a platform where everybody has an equal voice? Whether somebody is high, like a head of state or a billionaire, or if somebody is low, that they're a street child. Everybody's voice matters, especially when we have a look at what the human experience is. So what shaped me was also a question of saying, if I only see the world as I am, how much of this human experience am I missing? How much of this planet do I not understand? How much of the cultures or communities out there that I've never had exposure to has not shifted the way that I could appreciate the world at large? And that also led me to an idea of saying that there has to be more to this life. And therefore, we have to reshape how we choose to live, and importantly, change the way that we look at ideas. So the next one here is a bit about my inspirational gallery. So some of you would recognize some of the individuals here. You got the President Museveni of Uganda here. You've got Meles Zenawi of Ethiopia there. You got Reka Bishama from Suriname. Doubled up these photos here. This was in Sierra Leone during the Ebola crisis. This was the first Ebola victim that people claimed. And my work has taken me right the way around the world. So what I'm going to do now is an interactive session with you to kind of get your minds geared up, to kind of get a glimpse of how I see the world. And hopefully, by seeing the world that I do, maybe it may give you different perspectives. So are you ready for this experiment? Are you all ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as a warm-up, in your groups, you have literally 2 minutes to do this. I want you to think about the most adventurous and unique thing that has happened to you this week. And then I want you, with your group, to share it with everybody else in 60 seconds or less. So do you understand what I'm asking you to do? Yeah? So You have 2 minutes right now. You're all sitting in groups of 2, 3, or 4. In your groups quite quickly, I want you to think about the most unique and adventurous thing that's happened to you this week. Okay?
Yes.
Once you've done that, after 2 minutes, I want you to nominate somebody from your group to tell us all within the class about what that is, and you have to be able to sum it up in 60 seconds or less. Do you understand what you need to do?
Yes.
Great, okay. Let's kick it off. You literally have 2 minutes starting from now in your group to come up and brainstorm about what you've been able to do, your most adventurous moment in the last week. Let's kick it off from now.
Just you and your most adventurous
SMEs are very stupid. If you are here, one person has to hear it. Me, I know it.
Remember, part of this is that you're going to have to talk to other members of your group. There's no island here, huh? I can see a lot of people not talking. I can see a lot of people just sitting there in silence. Come on, guys. The most adventurous thing that's happened to you this week.
Wake up. Stand up and say it, bro.
You have a minute left. And Mary, do me a favor, go up and down the class. At least I can see everyone's faces as well.
I mean, up and down.
I'm holding the phone and
We're going up and down so that I can see everybody's face.
that's what I'm saying. People are just stupid here.
You have 30 seconds left.
The most adventurous moment in terms of
Shut your mouth.
My name is Shadrach from the Republic of Congo. Actually, I didn't really get what you were saying from the beginning. There were some issues with the network here. Yeah, with the question, I did not really understand it that very much.
Okay, good. So if you don't understand the question, you can always ask for clarity, right? So that's lesson 1. So the question is, I want you to think about the most adventurous or unique thing that has happened to you this week. Now, you can define adventurous by any way that you want to. Adventurous could be walking to the shops, one idea. Unique can be anything that is meaningful for you.
Please answer.
And you're going to work in your group. So if you're sitting down with 3 people, you work together as 3 people. If you're sitting down as 2 people, you work together as 2 people. Okay, are you ready? So tell me your name.
All right, my name is Philip, and I'm from South Sudan, sir.
Nice to meet you, Philip. Philip, so tell me on your group side, in 60 seconds or less, I'm going to be timing it on my watch here, what has been the most adventurous or unique thing that has happened for your group so far this week? Go.
Okay, sir. To start with, actually, the foundation has really arranged a lot of programs for us to meet various people that have to do with the careers that some of us are going to actually go into when we go into the university. So actually this week we met some people that have really made it in their fields. Some of them have to do with the Bitcoin trading, others into the hospitality industry. And these people have really changed our minds and given us the a different perspective of how we used to see life. So I think other groups will also have to contribute. So thank you very much.
Nice, you did that in 38 seconds, Philip. Not bad. All right, who's next? Let's start for, okay, what's your name?
Good afternoon. My name is Faskina Joseph from South Sudan.
Fasila, okay, you have now 60 seconds. Tell me about your most adventurous or unique experience of your group.
Okay, for me, the voice of Nigeria. Yesterday we met the Minister Chi. This is the best thing happened to me yesterday.
Why is it the best thing that happened to you? Why?
Because she taught us how to sing and she was having a nice voice, and I believe that I can sing too.
Aha, okay. So Priscilla, did it give you comfort? Oh, we got another one going. What's your name? I can see a hand being raised there. You're the leader of your group. What's your name?
My name is How. I'm from Liberia.
Okay, you have 60 seconds. What has been the most adventurous thing for your group and unique?
This week, it happened yesterday. We agreed. We met a tech genius. His name is Hanu, that's his name. And he was the reason why it's the most unique thing for my group, we agreed that he was very humble the way he was dressed, and he taught us a lot. He has a lot of companies, and that was the unique thing that has happened to us this week.
So what stood out for you?
The way he was dressed.
In what way?
He looked he's really successful from what he told us about himself, but he was dressed really, really simple. So his simplicity.
Simplicity, and it means it's something that you can emulate. It's something that you can do as well. Is that right? Good. Okay.
Yes.
Who's next?
Yes.
Who's next? Thank you very much. Hey, what's your name?
Good day, sir. My name is Julian. I'm from Congo.
Nice to meet you, Julian. So, Julian, tell me from your group, what has been the most adventurous or unique thing that has happened to you guys this week?
Okay. We had a program with the Rochas Foundation, and they took us through a set of activities, such as painting and acting, and we had a good moment with them. They taught us a lot of things and concerning hygiene, sanitation, and climate change. So it was such an amazing moment with them.
Why was it amazing for you?
We learned a lot of things from them. They taught us many things in life, life tips, many things. So I felt like I got really, really inspired by the activities.
Okay, but you have to be deeper with me, hey? You're telling me things that are at the top here. So what inspired you? Give me one thing that inspired you, that made a difference to you. Give me one thing that inspired you, that made a difference for you.
Okay. I've always loved painting, but I never knew how to paint. On that day, I discovered that I can actually paint just by trying. So I got really, really inspired.
There you go. Okay, who's next? Thank you very much, boss. Who's next?
Okay, my name is Nkwerre Abraham from Ethiopia, and for my group, the best activity we had for this week was getting funds. Yes, getting our funds.
Getting your phones.
And also for the Ugumba leadership, we had one section with Miss AB. I think that's her name, and that was one of the best activities we have had.
Why? Why?
Okay, she actually taught us a lot of things, which include on how to choose our career.
Okay, and what stood out for you? What do you remember from that?
I remember that I was supposed to follow what I actually want to do in life, not because of the money involved or not because of what others have to say about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Good. Thank you very much. And who's next?
Who's the next man?
Oh, he's standing. There you go. What's your name?
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Yosef Tesfaye. I'm from Ethiopia.
Nice to meet you, Joseph. So tell me, what has been the most adventurous or unique thing that's happened for your group?
Okay, the most adventurous thing that happened to our group is actually the Gumba Leadership Program for last week. We had a session with Professor Remy, the former Vice President of Bank of America, and it was really educative because she taught us a lot of things. She spoke about emotional intelligence, how to understand people's emotions and be able to interact with them in a way that will not cause conflicts, and a lot of other things. And the fact that she was a Nigerian woman who went to the US and she was able to conquer her surroundings to a point she became the Vice President of Bank of America was actually inspirational.
Good on you. Good on you. Good. Thank you very much, sir. And who's next?
Imran, you don't want me to say something?
Oh.
Okay, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Okay, for my group, it's meeting Mr. Ahmad. He's a member of UN. And the best thing that I learned is he actually speaks 7 languages. And it's made me to have interest in learning more languages. And the other thing is he was so thoughtful to bring a cake for our graduation, even though it is not in some days. So we were very happy and inspired with his activities. Thank you, sir.
Nice. Good to hear. And who's next?
Hassan. Raise your hand.
Okay, good morning. My name is Hassan Yusuf. I'm from Niger Republic, sir.
Nice to meet you, Hassan.
And the most adventurous thing that happened to I and my group members was actually day before yesterday. We actually went to the market, and after going to the market, we kind of went to get some groceries and food, cooking materials. So we came back to the kitchen and made our food by ourselves. So that was the most adventurous thing.
Very good. Very good. But I get it. It's because you have to cook for yourself, and there's excitement to that. You're learning new skills and you're learning what you can make. And you got people from across Africa. So people are using different ingredients in different ways. Is there anybody else left there to tell me about their most adventurous thing? I think that there's 2 more people.
Complete. That's the last group.
It's completed. Good. Okay. So there's a general theme there, right? When you guys speak about what's adventurous for you, what's unique, have you noticed that they're all experiences? That they're not actually just ideas, but they're actually things that you experienced. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What does that tell you about life? What does that tell you about the experience in which you're living?
We see things differently.
We see things differently. And importantly also, it means what triggers our responses as human beings is deeply important. It's not about what you learn. It's about how you experience what you learn. That what matters is not what you get out of life that ever matters. It's who you become during that exposure. And that's a really important thing, because right now you're young, you're moving ahead in life. You're going to be going to universities right the way across the globe. And you're going to come across obstacles. You got your hand up there. Somebody had their hand up, I can see. No? Okay, so it is about your experiences that you have. Now, what I want you to do now, along these themes, along these ideas that you guys have kindly presented to me, we're going to take it just a bit further, okay? So I want you right now, in your group, to think about what defines you as a person. What defines your life? What experiences from your upbringing has shifted the way in which you look at the world? Now, this is a very personal thing for you. So I want you to do, with a pen and paper in front of you, right now, give yourself literally 60 seconds. Write down the first thing that comes to your mind. You don't have to think about it, but the first thing that comes into your mind about what defines you. Do you understand what I want you to do?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. It's really easy. It's really simple. But what you'll find is that when you're at university, you will learn about a subject. When you buy a new phone, you'll get a whole instruction manual for that phone, correct?
Yes, sir.
When you cook a new dish, you'll find a recipe on the internet about how you do that. But when you're born, nobody ever gives you a book to tell you how your mind works, which is strange. So throughout the whole of your life, you're going to be studying about different subjects, but you're never going to study about what defines you. At this moment in time, I want to flip the script and give you the opportunity for 60 seconds on a piece of paper. You don't have to share it. You can keep it to yourself, but write down what defines you as a person. Just put it down. If you haven't got a pen and paper in front of you for whatever reason, just keep a mental note for what that means, or ask to borrow a pen and paper. You have 60 seconds to do that now, okay? So let's go forward. We're going to kick it off. I can see people are asking for pens and papers. So if you don't have a pen and paper, please put up your hand so somebody can provide you with a piece of paper from their book. Or what you can do, if you got somebody next to you who's kind enough to say, hey, we can work together, then work together. Has everybody got somebody with them? Has everyone got a pen? Has everyone got paper? Yeah, we're going to start the 60 seconds now. Let's go. And take this seriously. So 60 seconds is starting now. Remy, I can see you got your own pen and paper there. So good on you. So let's kick it off. Write down what defines you. Now, whilst you're doing that, don't give me stupid answers like it's my country that defines me. Don't give me answers such as it's my education or it's my family. I don't want to hear stuff like that. What I want to hear is the inner workings of your mind. What do you think has defined your experience so far? So get writing. You have 40 more seconds left.
You have 40 more seconds. So. Banana. What defines you now?
Okay, I'll give you 10 more seconds. Oh, she's ready. Look. Okay, go for it.
Okay, for me, the thing that defines me, my attitude, the way I think, and the way I react towards things.
Okay, so that is a very logical response of what defines your output. But that is good, and hold on to that. Tell me what defines you as a person. What makes you you?
Okay, because I'm humble, I'm obedient, and I reason.
If I want someone humble, if I want somebody obedient, I'd get myself a pet. I don't want a pet. You're a human being on this planet. What defines you? What experiences have you had that has defined the way in which you look at the world?
Raise your hand.
Yeah, I can see. There's two. Tell me. The cook, the chef, master chef, tell me.
Yes, it's the chef, that's me. So what I actually wrote here, the main thing that defines me is my identity. Who am I?
Okay, so what's your identity?
My identity in the sense of where I'm coming from, where I belong to, the country I'm coming from, the continent I belong to, and where I'm going to. That's my identity.
Yeah, but what's your identity, chef? Who are you? What are you identified by your nation?
Well, first of all, I'm identified by my name. I'm Hassan Yusuf, as I said earlier, and I'm identified by where I'm coming from, how I look, and the attitude and the values that I hold most dearly in me.
So what about if I was blind and I can't see you? How do I identify you? If I was blind, if I was deaf, so I can't see, I can't hear you. How do I define you by your voice, or how do I define you by the way you look? Because your country then means nothing to me. Your voice means nothing to me. Your features mean nothing to me. What defines you as a human?
I think what defines me most importantly as a human being, if you are a blind person, which I don't pray you become anyways, what will define me definitely is my kindness. And when you hear my voice, you actually know that I'm a kind person.
Okay, that's a starting point. Who wants to add on to that? Is a good initial idea. Okay, I can see a hand raised. Yeah, she's waving on your left hand side. Oh, there's another one there. Tell me. Let's add on to that. The singer.
On my paper, I wrote my upbringing and the people I've met throughout my journey.
Interesting. Okay, so if you're defined by your upbringing and the people that you met, what happens if you meet new people? What happens if you meet new minds? Does that redefine who you are? Does it redefine your experience?
It's not like they are defining me. It's more like the experiences, my upbringing, and the people I've met have shaping the person that I am. But I am who I am because from inside.
Okay, so we're essentially learning machines, right? So we're learning from the experiences of others, and that then determines ourselves, our ideas of success. It determines ourselves, the ideas of self-worth, our validation, our place in the planet. So if we're around people, if we're associated with people that don't have much self-worth, if we're associated with people who do not have a broader vision of life, ultimately we're going to suffer, correct? But if we associate ourselves with people who are more global, if we associate ourselves with people with big ideas, big visions, big experiences, we'll benefit from that, correct?
Yes.
So what defines us as human beings is not just our country, but it's an exposed experience around us. Who wants to add on to that? I can see that there's other hands that are raised. Thank you very much. Who wants to add on to that? Does somebody want to add? Yeah, go on. Wonderful smile. Tell me how you're going to add on to that.
Good morning. My name is Aldiana.
Lovely to meet you.
Okay, according to me, what defines me is the fact that I always work for what I want and I keep going for it. I don't force myself what I don't like and what I don't know how to do. And again, what defines me is that I am unchangeable. People cannot change me. People cannot stop me from being myself.
Why? Why?
Why? Because I believe that's me and that's my value. People cannot just.
Are there people around you that have the same values in your family?
It's not the same. No.
No. So you've been able to do this. Okay. Cool. Okay. And anybody else that wants to add on?
Who wants to add on now? Ada.
No.
Silent. You know, stand up now when I pass you.
What defines you?
Okay, my name is Simon. Two things define me. The first one is my vision, and the second one is God.
Okay. So tell me about your vision.
Okay. I really want to be someone that will bring a change to the world, and that has made me to stand out. Because if I'm not having vision, when I sit in the crowd, there's nothing that will distinguish me. So having a vision, that's what will make me to stand out, and that's what will reflect my identity. And secondly, also, I put God there because anything that I want to accomplish in life, I can only achieve it in the reflection of God or the aspect of God.
So, okay, that is an interesting philosophical question there. But our visions are exposed by what we think is possible. Now, I'm going to tell you, you can take a seat. Very good. So I'm going to tell you all a story right now. Have you heard of the Native Americans, the Red Indians of the US? Yeah? No. If not, I'll tell you about it. So in America, I spent time with a tribe called the Lenape tribe. So these were the Native Americans of America before the Brits came over. And they told me about a story about what vision is. At the time that the Brits came over on ships, because the Native Americans have never seen ships before, most of them were blind to it. Because they'd never seen it before, they never imagined it before, even though the ships were on the shore, they couldn't see it. The one man that could see it was seen as somebody that was almost different from the rest of the tribe, because he was able to literally see something that was invisible for most people. So when we talk about ideas of vision, we have to also be very, very careful. We have to think, what are we envisioning? What are we seeing based upon our experiences? Now, I've traveled quite extensively. I'm probably one of the youngest explorers in the world, having had the privilege of working with many people across the planet. What I've learned when it comes to the human ideas that shape us is that we need to get as much exposure to different types of conversations that we like, but also equally conversations that we don't like. Because by exposing ourselves to conversations that we don't like, we listen to it to understand, why do people think a certain way? The whole world of commerce, all of you want to get into business, or you want to work for somebody, is that correct? So you want to be business leaders, or you want to get a job in the world, in the corporate world. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. You do realize that whilst you're on this planet, for whatever years it is, if it's 80 years, 90 years, or even 100 years, the reality is, during that lifespan, the only thing that is going to ever govern your life is going to be your mindset. And your mindset is going to be governed by other people's opinions about what the world is. Regardless of how strong we think we are or not, that is unfortunately reality. So if you can, from an early age like now, the age of 17, 18, 19 or 20, start understanding what makes you think the way that you think and what makes the world look the way that it looks, you're going to have a head start to anybody else on the planet. That's true. That's reality. Do you understand why I say that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The reason why I say that is because the most important thing that you will ever have in your whole entire existence is going to be between your two ears. It's your brain. And that brain is going to govern the way in which you want to see the world. So right now, at this age, before you go to university, it's really important that you start understanding how you think, why you think what you think, and start thinking deeper about yourself and thinking deeper about the world at large. Now, for me, what I do, and it's a trick that I think will help you, is whenever you come across a problem, whenever you find yourself stuck with an idea, ask yourself the 7 whys. So write this down. Write down the word 7 whys. If you ask somebody, what do you believe in? Ask them why. And when they answer that question, ask them why again. And continue doing that until you get down to 7 whys. If somebody can still answer that at the end of it, that means they have fully thought through the whole process. Do it with yourself as well. Ask yourself, what does success mean to you? For most people, success means something glamorous, like loads of money, that you got a house, you got a ship, you got a yacht, or you got an airplane, or you got this big thriving business. But for other people, success means something very, very different. So in order to get a career, in order to work somewhere, you have to ask yourself truly, what is it that you believe in? And don't be ashamed of that. Don't be scared of that. When you're studying a new subject at university, you have to ask yourself, why am I doing this? What impact do I think this is going to have on my life? Who am I going to become by studying this? Not what am I going to get? Because they're going to be really important ways in which to strive you in the future. I know that you've had a lot of seminars over the last week or so. And the last thing that I want to do is give you more seminars. So what I like to do in the last 10 minutes is have an interactive session with you, whereby you can ask me questions or you can ask each other questions, because it's really important. So I'm going to ask you a question, and then you guys can ask me any questions. I can tell you about my own story, about my own travels, about the people that I met with, about my own experiences around the world. But before we start that, I'm going to ask you a question to see if you've learned anything from today's session. What does success mean to you? Write it down on a piece of paper. Write down the word, what does success mean to me?
What does success
So write down on a piece of paper, what does success mean to me? And before you answer that question in your pairs, I want you to close your eyes and really think about it and ask yourself before you answer why. And then again, once you get that question, ask yourself again, why? What I want you to develop is the ability to introspect. So in other words, ask yourself deeper questions and to be able to think deeply about your answers, because that will dictate your life. I'm going to give you 60 seconds to do it. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay, your 60 seconds starts now. What does success mean to you? And then I want you to ask yourself why. Get down to what it truly represents to you, what it represents to your idea of family, or the idea of wealth, or the idea of having an experience on this planet.
Okay.
You have 30 more seconds.
What does success means and why? You should raise your hand. SMS.
Before you answer it, I want you to really think hard and think deep and say, what does it truly mean to me?
Okay, my name is Shedrack and I'm a Congolese. From what I wrote here is success means making money to me as a person.
Okay.
And the reason is because I know how bad the state of poverty is, especially when you look at the African condition. When you go on the street, you see that people can't even afford a common water to drink. And to me, I consider making money to be my biggest success in life.
So then, before we clap, so what success means to you isn't money. Money is the output. What success means to you is equality.
So I didn't understand what you said.
So what you're saying is success is making money because you've seen poverty, right? So do you want to get rid of poverty?
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
Yeah,
so what you're really striving for is equality. Do you know what equality means?
Yes, I know.
So it's about making finances, about making money, but is using the money to create equality, to make sure that people aren't living in poverty, to make sure that people aren't suffering, that when you look on the streets, you see your brothers and sisters, your friends, your community, your fellow countrymen, that they realize that there can be a better world for them, that they can live in there. Correct? That's what success means. So our ideas that shape us has to come from an emotional cause. So when you go forward, I remember Rochas told me one thing once. He goes, if you want to be successful, you have to imagine somebody has tied your hands and tied your legs and thrown you in a swimming pool. And the way in which you try and grasp for breath, the way that you move your body, everything to kind of get that breath, that's how bad you have to want to have success. If it feels that strong inside your body, you're going to achieve it, because now it is life or death for you. To add on to that, though, you have to also have an impact on your fellow human beings. You have to change the face of equality. That's a good answer. Well done to you. Who's next? What does success mean to somebody else?
That success to me is having a voice that matters and giving that voice to people.
I like that. Why?
Okay, I really think it's not enough to be able to just speak for people. Honestly, like, I like influence. A lot of people don't like to say it, but I like influence. I want my voice to be able to matter, because when you come from where we come from, where people voices normally, we are not like, there are parts of Africa, there are parts where we're from, I think, where your voices are not heard a lot, especially maybe when you are a female and you're Black and you're from Africa. So I want to be a voice, and I want to be able to give that voice, because I've learned over time that the worst thing you can do to someone is to suppress them and not give them the permission to talk and be heard.
Good. I like that. Great answer. So success for you is based upon the experience of not having a voice. So therefore creating a voice for yourself, but creating a platform that other people can create their voices as well. I like that. So success for you is equality, is making a difference. I like that. Who's next? Well done to you. I can see a hand. Yep.
Good afternoon. My name
Good
is
afternoon.
I am in Nigeria. Well, what my success is when I accomplish my dreams and aspirations.
Okay, but what are your dreams? What are your aspirations?
Well, I see myself at a certain height every time. So I think when I reach the height I want, that's my success.
But what is the height? What are you reaching for?
Well, I have different dreams. I want to become a medical doctor. I want to do a lot of things. So I think if I am able to do that, I will define it as my success.
Okay, so why a medical doctor?
Just first of all, for the passion I have, and also to save the humanity, because I know a lot of things are happening in the world and there are health crises everywhere. So if I can be able to do something in my own part to save what I can save, I'll consider that as success.
Nice. So you're fighting for equality as well. You're fighting for health equality.
Yes.
Okay,
Sure,
cool.
yeah.
I like that. Well done. Well done. The last one, does anybody else want to say anything about what success means for them? Hello.
Hello, my name is Adam from Liberia. My own definition of success is preaching the word of God and entering heaven.
Okay. So again, because I don't want to get philosophical, but why?
But why?
Why?
Oh, why? It's because as citizens of Christ, we are all to preach the word of God to those that don't believe in Him and for kingdom advancement.
Okay, I'll give you that one. I'm not going to digress. Okay, cool. So with everybody's conversation here so far, it has been about the idea of what success is. Now, on your piece of paper, I want you to write down a really important sentence, that it's not what you get out of life that matters, it's who you become. So on your paper, write down this statement: it's not what you get out of life, it's not what you get out of a situation, it's who you become is going to be the most important thing. So when you're going forward into the world, and it can be a fantastic world, but there's a lot of problems, you have to constantly ask yourself, who am I becoming? If you make a lot of money, that's all well and good, but you have to ask yourself, who am I becoming as an individual? These words won't mean much to you now, but I guarantee it, tomorrow when you find your fame, you find your fortune, or you become the next pastor of the world, you will then have to ask yourself a question saying, who am I becoming as an individual? That's the most important thing. I know that it's very awkward having a camera pointed in your face, so don't worry about it. I've got nothing else to really ask you. I've got nothing else to go through with you. I do want to say, though, that it has been a very deep privilege to be able to speak with you. I have been in your situation before. I've seen what poverty is like. We're from India, and I don't know if many of you guys know, but India does have some deep issues there when it comes to problems taking place in the streets. But one thing that I decided to do when I was at your age group was to say, how can I create a voice for other people? How can I go out there and explore the world and understand more about the planet in which I live? I've been very lucky since then to develop a business that is now in over 48 countries around the globe. We have our own ambassadors. I'm very honored to have Uche as my ambassador in Nigeria, through to the president of Guyana in Guyana to support her. So if I can do it by asking myself deep, reflective questions, I think you guys can do it as well. Do you guys have any questions that you want to ask me? Is there anything that you want to bug my brain with? Yeah, I can see a hand.
Okay, sir. My name is Joseph once again, and I wanted to
I
ask.
remember Joseph from Ethiopia, right? Tell me
Yes,
more.
sir. More about me?
No. What do you want to ask? What do you want to say?
Oh, okay. Okay. At the beginning you mentioned that you were born in England and people had problem with your accent and all that. So most of us here want to study outside of the continent because we believe that the opportunities are better, and I believe we are able to achieve that. How do you think, sir, we'll be able to handle the discrimination and probably the racism?
Good question. Really good question. Okay, so remember right at the beginning, Yusuf, I said, I want you to write down a couple of words. What was the most memorable thing for you? What was the most adventurous thing? What is the most unique thing? And then do you remember I asked you to define what success is? The reason why I asked you to do that is because you are going to face discrimination. That's the fact of it. You are going to face racism. It's going to happen in your life, whether it happens within Africa or if it happens in the US or in England. What's really important, the ways in which you deal with it, is one, you have to have a firm belief on who you are as a person. And that firm belief has to be based upon you being able to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why should I have to achieve this? Why have I got the ability to do this and nobody else? That voice inside yourself, Yusuf, has to be stronger than any voice you hear outside. That's the first step. So you have to have true belief in yourself, but not superficial belief. It has to be really deep belief that keeps you moving. The second way to be able to deal with it, especially when it comes to skin color, is also to start accepting people who they are beyond skin, beyond religion, beyond ethnicity. The moment you can start talking to people as a human to human, they will start changing their approach to you. Because nobody has a monopoly of life, I can assure you. Whether you're talking to a president or you talk to a billionaire or you talk to a person on the street, we all have the same rights on this planet. We may perceive it differently because we give other people power. But the fact that we're alive on this planet, we have a voice. It's up to us to choose to use that voice. So that's the second thing. So first thing is you have to ask yourself why. Second thing you ask yourself, you treat everybody as human beings and equally. The third thing, and it sounds really tough, but you're going to have thick skin. You really have to have that. Know that if somebody is going to be racist, if somebody's going to be ignorant, that is a product of their own upbringing. Never take it personally. If somebody physically does something to you, that's different. But people use words, never take it personal and ask them why they believe that. Ask them, what do they think about Africans and where did that thought come from? You'll realize when you ask people questions, most people will start to figure out that the reason why we hold on to certain ideas is because we've never been educated otherwise at all. Now, the reality is life is not going to be easy for any of us. It's not going to be easy for you. Even if you're in Nigeria, people from one side of Nigeria to the other face a form of discrimination. You all know that, right? If you're Hausa or Yoruba or Igbo, everybody for some reason, they want to feel validated by their identity. So they'll discriminate against you until they know who you are. That's what I'm saying. Your identity has to be much deeper than your skin color. Your identity has to be much deeper than your idea of nationalism. People need to know when they speak to you, they speak to somebody who has really thought through their life and understand what the world's about. That's a very long answer to a short question, but hopefully that helps. You're going to have to get thick skin. You're going to have to understand what defines you. Do not let other people define your ideas. Do not let anybody else define. You got a question at the back that I can see. Oh, a few more questions.
So my name is Hawa Kasi. I think I didn't mention that earlier. So I wanted, when you were speaking, you told us you traveled to like 70 countries, if I'm not wrong. Okay.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask, how is traveling to these many countries and meeting people of different culture, views, and live your life shaped you and the way you speak? Like,
That's
how
a
has it
great
shaped
question. Great question. Okay, so before I tell you that, I'll give you some of my experiences. So I've been held hostage before. I've been shot at before. I've been through hurricanes before, natural disasters. So I've been through a lot of stuff. I've seen death firsthand, the whole works. The way it shaped me is that now I start to see the world as it is and not how I am. What that means is I accept people as human beings. When I look at you, I don't see you as a girl. I don't see you as an African. I don't see you as black. I see you as a human being. And I realize if I look at people as fellow human beings on this planet, my heart opens up a lot more. That's been the biggest change in my life. Because then I realize the problems of poverty affects us all. The problems of crime affects us all. The problems of climate change impacts everybody. It's not just an African problem or an India problem or a Middle East problem. It's a problem for everybody. So the other way it's impacted me is that I realized that we're all the same. We all have a fragile experience on this planet. Something can happen tomorrow and all of a sudden our life is over. So that's why it defined the way in which I looked at the world to say, I'm now going to build a business that provides a voice for everybody, that I can treat everybody equally. And through my work, we've been able to change national laws in different countries. So that's how it's redefined me. My travel experience has basically defined the way in which I look at other human beings and have a look at the planet as whole. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Yeah. It's also redefined what success means to me. I realized that success was never about the money. Success was about defining my experience on this planet. You have more questions. Any other questions? You had your hand up, I believe. No, the other guy? Yeah.
My name is Gomez. I'm from Guinea-Bissau.
Nice to meet you, Gomez.
So my question is like, in spite the challenges and hardship of life and of where you have been, what was that thing that kept pushing you forward?
That's a good question. I think it was a belief that there's more to life. It is honestly that. I've seen some deep hardships, I've seen poverty firsthand as well. And it was a belief in knowing that there has to be more to life. Gomez, do you know how many species are on this planet with us? Right?
I can't hear you.
Do you know how many species coexist on this planet with us? Species. We, as human beings, is one species. There's over 1 trillion species that live in this planet with us. 1 trillion, not a billion, 1 trillion. And so whenever I felt low, I thought, hang on, I'm living on this planet with 1 trillion other things. There has to be more to life than what business is. There has to be more to life than politics. There has to be more to life than one person in a country dictating how my life should be. Why should one prime minister or one president put my entire generation into poverty? How does that make sense? Or why should one person or one politician or one group of people in one country dictate how the welfare of animals should be or the welfare of my community? That's what kept me going, because I realized if they can do it, and there's another 1 trillion species on this planet, that means I can do it as well. So it's an everlasting belief in the best of what humanity is. That's what kept me moving. It's a belief of saying, if I'm a human being on this planet, then I am enough. If I made it to this planet, if I can live in this planet, if I can breathe, if I can eat, if I can move, if I still have energy in my body, you better believe it that I can do something different. That's what kept me moving. you know, especially if you get taken hostage or you get shot at or you go through natural disasters. It pushes you to the limits. When you think you're about to die, I've had a lot of near-death experiences. When you think you're not going to make tomorrow, it pushes you and it rechanges the way that you think, you know? Does anybody else have any other questions?
Read SMS. Come forward if you have a come forward.
I'm charging to come and see.
Did you have a question?
Okay, my name is Shadrach, and my question is, what do you define as your biggest success, as you asked us earlier?
My biggest success is, one, I think, is getting married. I never thought it would ever happen. And so the fact that I could get a woman to fall in love with me, I think that's quite good. My biggest success has been my kids, not raising them, but helping cultivate their minds. Because if I can do that there, I can, in fact, help change a generation of people. So that is my personal success. I think my biggest success when it comes to me as a human being, I would say, is my business. Not because of the money, but because of the change in which we've been able to create around the world. The fact that through the business, we started to rechange the way we look at capitalism, that we said that there has to be a different way. And so that to me has been a really important venture of my life. You know, I don't know if you know much about what the Global Indian Network does, but, you know, we create media, we create conversations that change the way that the people look at each other and look at the world. We go to areas of conflict and we start to create bridges between communities rather than creating divides. And so what I decided to do was take what means success to me, what it means to be a human to me, and bring it into an environment in which I can make real everlasting change. So that would be my worldly success. It's not me. It never will be me. My name will fade in the next.
Africa. Make 6G network. That's right. Let's let a little. Next time I'm moving around, if you are sitting nonsense, I will capture you. I think the one has. He's still around. Last time I looked, they got him.
Sorry, I've been on mute. Okay, before Mr. Rajan comes back, students, do you have anything to say? How do you feel about the session that we just had?
Thank you.
Okay. My boss is here. His Excellency is here. Okay. Rajan is back. Sorry. Okay. Okay, sorry, Mr. Rajan.
No problem.
Sorry. I wanted to remove your presentation, so I got you kicked out. Sorry.
Don't worry, it's
Sorry about
absolutely
that.
fine.
Yeah, His Excellency is here now. So, Your Excellency, do you have anything to say? Rajan has been with us for over 1 hour and very interactive session. The kids are happy and they are charged up for the future. So, do you have anything to say?
Just to say thank you to my friend and the chairman of the advisory board of Ugumba's Center for Leadership Development in Africa, my good friend Rajan. Thank you for giving the graduates a good advice and the lecture they deserve. Knowing who you are and knowing what you stand for, you've impacted in so many young people and businesses in Africa and the entire world. Rajan has visited almost all the countries in this world. So there is no country you call in this world, Rajan would not tell you how the country looks like and who the president is. So it's a privilege and it's a thing to be happy that somebody like Rajan is here to lecture you and to tell people how to live a good life. My brother Rajan, thank you very much for being there for them. The people you see there are children from all over African countries. Some are from Kenya, some are from South Africa, a lot of them. This is part of the work, His Excellency, who was once your boss. Yeah, because I know you once worked with us in Rochas Foundation. So thank God you are part of Rochas Foundation and you know all what the distinguished Senator Rochas Okrocha, what he has been doing for the less privileged in Nigeria, in Africa, and the entire world. So I sincerely want to thank you and appreciate you as a brother and as the chairman of my advisory board. Thank you for coming. May God continue to bless you. I want also at this juncture, I want to also appreciate the DG of the Rochas Foundation, Ms. Uchechi Rochas Okrocha.
Okay.
She is also a pillar in the foundation. You see, I want to thank you. These students and these young boys and girls will ever remember you in life because one day one of these young people might be the president or the minister in their country, and posterity will remember you, Miss UC Rochas, and to you, the boys and girls and the graduates. I know that at this point in time, you actually know that life starts now, and whatever you can do in life starts now. So you are going to drive yourself, you are going to drive your destiny. Your daddy very soon will not be there to come and see you every day in your university. Auntie UC will not come to see you there. Our brother Rajan will not be there. You just left you and your destiny. So for you to achieve success and for you to get to your destination in life, this is the time to start. You want to be a doctor, you want to be a pilot, you want to be a pharmacist, you want to be a lawyer, this is time to start. But I know very well that having gone through Rochas Foundation College, Rochas Foundation College of Africa, that we have the best brain in here. And by the grace of God, we pray that one day we shall sit in Nigeria. I hear that a former student of Rochas Foundation College of Africa is the president of Tanzania, is the president of Liberia, is the president of Ghana, is the president of Ethiopia. We hear that one of our students is the first lady of Ethiopia, is the first lady of Kenya, Liberia, and so many other countries. That is the dream of our leader, our father, His Excellency Rochas Okrocha. I wish all of you good luck, and we'll be here to keep praying for all of you. And I've already told these are for the boys. I've told your Auntie UC that I'm going to provide suit for all the boys. I'm going to make suit available for all the boys, and my wife will make also another clothes available for all the girls in the house. So God bless all of you. Thank you, and God bless all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you so much for joining us at the right time. Mr. Rajan, I hope you don't have anything more to say before I bring the DG. I know you are itching to say something. Do you want to, anything? You want to say something?
I think adding on to what my brother mentioned, it's just remember life is hard. Never rest on your laurels. Never take a step back and think it's easy. And when you think it's easy, it's going to come back and punch you one. So always be ready, always be aware, always be looking. And when you do find that success, make sure you make a difference to your fellow citizens in the world. Never get greedy. Make sure that everybody benefits. Because I'll tell you this, if the rich do not share their wealth, the poor will share their poverty. And the problem is in the world in which we live, we need to create more equality more than ever before. So always remember where you're from, always remember where you're heading to, but always remember that you have a custodian duty to make a difference to the planet, regardless of people's religion, regardless of people's ethnicity, regardless of where people have come from. Treat humanity as one and make sure everybody progresses together.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful having you on the show this morning and afternoon. At this juncture, I want to invite the DG of Rochas Foundation. I'm talking of Miss UC Rochas. Thank you. UC, you're welcome. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Remy, and thank you, the Ugumba Leadership Center. I see a key member of the Rochas Foundation, His Excellency Ugumba Uchenwusu. Thank you so much for joining us on this call. Thank you for all the kind words, and thank you for allowing the Ugumba Leadership Center to have this leadership conference with the students or the ex-students. Mr. Raj, nice to see you. It has been so long. I almost did not recognize you for a split second there. I know. It was, yes, we'll talk about that on a private call, but so good to see you. I joined the session from the beginning all the way till the end, till now. And honestly, at a point, I had to bring out my notepad as well to start writing. Thank you so much for the words of wisdom, the encouragement. The only thing I know I would add is I think there has to be a follow-up session for this particular discussion, because I know you push the students beyond in terms of asking them questions and the 7 whys. And I know that for the rest of the day, if I know them very well, they're going to be chewing over these questions and asking themselves if they really know who they are and their identity. So some of them might need a follow-up question to see if they've arrived at their answer. Thank you for all you're doing around the world. Thank you for your impact across all 70 countries. We saw the fire many years ago, but we did not know it was going to bring us to this particular moment. So we thank God for you. Thank God for the impact and the ripples of your work that we're seeing across different continents. I think in many ways, more than one, you have definitely not just inspired the students, but inspired everyone who has joined the call, those watching us via YouTube as well, to push themselves to understand why they're in this world and just the impact they hope to leave, and it not being about money, not being about anything. I found it very interesting that you said that one of your greatest successes was just your family and having just putting in what you believe and how you see the world and helping them shape how they see the world. So just going back to that idea that with every student who's seated in the auditorium there is one story, is one Africa, is one family being impacted by your words. So you might feel like you just spoke to 45 students, but be rest assured that you've spoken to 45 families and by extension, at least 10 African countries. We thank you for your time and we hope to see you again. We hope to make this something that you can speak with the other Rochas Foundation students across. I think when you were contributing to the foundation, we had then, if I remember correctly, we had about 4 or 5 schools, and then now we have 13 schools. So we have a lot of ground to cover, and we have over 9,700 students in school currently. So it's something that we'll work out with the Ogumba Leadership Center to see if you could maybe a pre-recorded video or something to discuss and share some of the values and ideas you've given to these ones to all the students. Let's be equal in our making information available to all Rochas Foundation beneficiaries. Thank you once again. Mr. Remy, thank you for coordinating this. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much, BG, for the opportunity, for us to engage with the students. It's been really amazing. And today we have the president of the Ogumba Leadership Center and the chairman of the advisory board. They are all seated in the room. It's really a privilege for the children. And we are happy, just like I said during the introduction, in these children, we see the future of Africa. We see, the things that we are not able to achieve now, we are seeing all of those in them, because this country, this continent, we have to move forward. We cannot continue to go backwards all the time. So this is just one of the sessions that we have for the academy. So much more are coming by the grace of God. It's been really amazing. We started with Ebi Eleziania last 2 weeks. Last week we had Professor Remy Doyle, and today we had Mr. Rajan Nazran. Next week we are going to have Chris Frost. Chris Frost from the US. He is the MD of Responsible Solutions in Silicon Valley, USA. He's coming to take all of us by storm, and I'm sure the students are ready. They are going to enjoy it. So at this juncture, I want to thank you, Your Excellency, for being good. Very good. So at this juncture, I want to thank. So before I let you go, let me also inform you. Do you know that as we speak, more people are requesting to join to speak to the children? More people. I had Your Excellency. I had SAN this morning. She has requested to join. Joyce Adeshina, SAN, she has requested to be one of the speakers. I have Weimi Eribo, the Change.org country coordinator for Nigeria. They are all requesting to be part of the faculty. This is really amazing. We are going somewhere. Thank you so much for the privilege. Thank you for the opportunity to do this for Africa. Thank you so much. At this juncture, I want to say it is bye-bye, children. Bye-bye. Thank you. See you again next week.